The way to a man's brain is through his nether regions.
Who's the next podcast?
Yeah, is she a robot? As long as she's a fucking robot, we're okay.
Who's the next podcast?
I sent you
He's
the
just in a haze of electronic sex.
yeah, I sent you the 10-inch Ninja Turtle thing, and then the
This was weeks ago. This is not recent.
Who's the next podcast?
Okay, I'm gonna just give it 100 because I want it to be 100 because that shit was fucking awesome.
Do y'all watch any of the stuff? The the stuff. Do you watch any of the Evo tournaments or the fighting stuff? Tim,
No,
do you know anything about it now?
I don't watch that at all.
I mean, I'm familiar with it, but I know some guys that I work with at Toys R Us are always doing like online tournaments and stuff like that
Yeah,
with Injustice 2.
that's cool.
I
They
mean-
actually do the tournaments online?
Yeah, I hear, I pick up on the conversations and stuff like that.
Okay, that's cool.
I mean,
I've been thinking about it. I've been debating it.
because I know the only time.
Stop adjusting your mic when we're recording.
Are we recording right now?
Of course we are.
Oh, fuck.
I just kicked it on.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't
That's
know
why I
that
was so
either.
far away from the mic.
I do that to y'all sometimes on the Who's Next. When in the middle of y'all talking, I just hit record. I don't know if you've ever caught that. If you
I
listen
have,
to
you
it.
dirty bastard.
Yeah, that I'll just hit record sometimes just so y'all don't know it. Because we don't open with the intro song like how we do in Losing Lives where we hear it.
Right.
Because I cut the intro song with tidbits of whatever we talk about. So that's why I do
That
that.
has like a natural flow
Yeah.
of just us talking. And because if you hit record, we know what's going on.
Yeah.
And we know what we're going to say next.
Yep.
Fair enough.
No, but I was watching the Injustice 2 tournament, and the CEO of Square Enix entered in, and he was playing some guy and got his ass
kicked.
whipped.
Yeah, this ain't turn-based, motherfucker.
I think he was doing it just for the fun of
Oh,
it.
I'm
He
sure.
had a cheesy ass grin on his face the whole time, and he got torn out the frame. Like he hit the guy maybe twice, and the dude just juggled him all across the screen.
See, I have no patience for that. This is why I don't play fighting games. Because I mean, you told me there's a mechanic where you can like break out of that. Or is that a
Yeah,
different
there is.
game?
There's all types of different stuff.
Yeah,
in
but
there to do
just
that.
for me, it's just not for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's for anybody who wants to spend the time to get like that critical. Like, it's a skill. It's an actual. That's why I find fighting games interesting to watch compared to other games. Like other games, like shooters and stuff. I've tried watching those in esports, but like you'll have 16 guys, like 8 and 8 teams of 8, and like, but you're only seeing everybody's like. You can't just watch 16 screens and everybody running around. It's chaotic.
Yeah.
So, but they'll show you one screen at a time, and it'll be this guy's and this guy's, and even that though is kind of chaotic. It's not as hard to follow. You can follow if you watch, but it's not as. I don't feel it's as entertaining as watching a fighting game because you're seeing both people, and you can see the decisions they're making. And like, oh yeah, that was a bad move. That guy should have did this and that or something like that. And you can like see it like an actual, almost like an actual fight. And there's different strategies. You have different characters that have different pros and cons, and they either are a good matchup or a bad matchup against another character. And you have two guys picking these whoever or girls. There's actually one chick in there that dresses up like Catwoman. It's a black chick. She has the whole Catwoman get up and everything, and she plays as Catwoman,
Of course.
and she's pretty good. She was whipping ass.
Like,
in
she
that.
better be good if she's going all out like that.
And she had her posse of like a few girls all dressed up as different characters. Like they were all in like cosplay shit.
It's too much.
That's cool, man. They're having fun with it, so fuck it. You know, I'm cool with that stuff. Like it wasn't like she was wearing anything too like slutty or revealing or anything.
Oh, then never mind.
Not that that's bad.
Ryan
I mean,
just
hey,
checked out. He was
yeah.
Yeah,
well,
I'm
hey,
done.
it was getting tight. So
Okay,
take it as
I'm
you-
back in the game.
Yeah, is she a robot? As long as she's a fucking robot, we're okay. I don't think Tim's listened to the episode yet.
I have not.
Ryan let it out that he likes just a girl that just fucks and maybe makes a sandwich, and that's good. That's where.
And then shuts off.
Shuts off.
And you don't like Fallout? You can get a sex bot in Fallout.
There you go. New game to play.
I see his eyebrows
Yeah,
perking
no
up.
fan.
All right, you need to play Fallout.
That's fantasy. I need this to be a reality.
It's first person, all right? It's as close as you're going to get.
Yeah.
I don't know the shit that Seth has showed me.
Oh,
All the electronics and having like little anime girlfriends and stuff like that.
That's like VR shit, though, right?
I didn't show you that. When did I,
I
show
think
you that? I think it was somebody else that showed you. I sent you the
He's just in a
10
haze of electronic sexual.
Yeah, I sent you the 10-inch Ninja Turtle thing, and then the.
This was weeks ago. This is not recent.
I don't remember sending you that. I can't think.
But yeah, I did get the 10-inch Mutant Ninja Turtle porn you sent me.
How was
You're
that?
welcome.
I have yet to watch it.
Yeah.
Wow.
All I heard, they had a description underneath of it, and they said all it is Casey Jones wearing the hockey mask, fucking the girl.
Casey's not even the Ninja
No,
Turtles.
this is where I found it at. Okay, it was an article on Facebook. There's somebody who said 15 video games that have adult stuff made out of it. So I was like, all right, see what this is. It could be something we talk about on the show, whatever.
All right.
And that's where I found the Kirby picture, which
Hell
was
yeah.
fantastic.
Nothing but titties.
It was like 20 Kirby's with tits coming at King DDD.
They were thick, too. They weren't like Coke bottle. Like,
Wait, so the Ninja Turtle porn you sent me,
That was another one. And they said that in the article it said that it's basically Casey Jones with a hockey mask plowing April. And then at the end, the Ninja Turtles come out. I think they all come on her or something like that.
Oh,
It's-
that's it?
I think so. I don't know.
Because I was wondering, was it just the scene of Casey Jones in April?
I don't know if it's
Or
just the
was it
scene,
the
if there's a
entire
longer
movie?
movie behind it. I don't know.
No, 'cause
that was the
it-
link that was there. I was like, I'll send this to Ryan.
Yeah, because I actually watched the first 10 seconds of it, and it had an intro to it, and I'm kind of waiting for the theme song to hit.
how long was... Did you see, like, how
It was
many
like 30
the
minutes,
video
I think.
Oh.
Wasn't it? Like
It's
29,
the
30?
time frame is like 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I was at work, and it's like, hey, you playing on your phone? I'm like, yeah, sure, man. they're like, is that your other job calling you? And I'm like, yeah, it is.
I love this job.
I said, this is for work. They're like, what's 10-inch Mutant Ninja Turtles?
That's a new toy that's coming over.
And I was like, I'm going to go home and watch this.
I'm not crying.
I just had a feeling that 30-minute movie for me would turn into like an hour and a half. All the times I would pause to analyze the footage.
Yeah, there you go. Your specialty. We need you to completely analyze everything about that.
Fair
movie.
enough. I am up for the challenge.
If I find that Kirby thing, I'm definitely sending that out. Somebody's watching that. That Kirby thing looks crazy. But anyways, welcome to Who's Next podcast. We're finally going to address the audience now. Today we're going to do our... And we're going to talk some shit. We're going to talk about critics. That's going to be the kind of subject line here that we're going to do. So I'm going to start off. Let me find this little game we're going to do. Y'all go ahead and talk among yourselves, bitches. Tell me about the Batman stuff you were talking about, Ryan. You were just talking about it. We'll talk a little bit about it on here for a bit while I pull up this Metacritic stuff.
You're talking about...
The Danny Trejo?
yeah,
stuff?
I was about to say the fan-made...
Yeah, let's talk
thing
about that
Danny
first.
Trejo.
Yeah.
Well, it just started as a joke at work because most of the guys I work with are into comics and the the DC cinematic universe and Marvel as well. And any news kind of pops up, everybody just kind of shares it with each other. And it just came across how Matt Reeves is the new director since Ben Affleck has dropped out as being director of the Batman, even though he's still Batman. He just will not be directing.
I'm not crying.
Even though I wanted to. And I was aware that him and Jeff Johns was working on the script.
That was beautiful.
Then all of a sudden,
Zangief.
then Zangief
It's been a while,
came in.
Zangief. It's been a while.
Yep.
Then But I heard Matt Reeves, who just dropped War of the Planet of the Apes, is now taking over the script and directing, and he has pretty much threw their script in the trash.
Yeah.
So a lot of people had speculations whether Ben Affleck is going to want to continue to be Batman, which honestly he said for now he will, but he can't really tell you like months down the road of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I would be very disappointed.
I will.
I
be
like
too.
Ben Affleck a lot. As
Yeah,
Batman.
I liked
Yes.
him a lot as Batman. I'd be
So
disappointed.
everybody's asking me, so what would happen if Ben Affleck dropped? And I'm like, then they might as well restart the entire DC cinematic
I
universe.
feel
again.
that way. I mean, it would
Call
be a
it
bad.
rebirth.
It would just rebirth that
Rebirth
shit.
it.
I've actually started getting into Rebirth. I've got the first 2 volumes of Batman, the Rebirth stories, because I'm wanting to get into the I Am Bane stories. I heard Tom King has been knocking it out of the park with the Batman stuff, so I'm interested. Anyways, I'm on Metacritic now. We're gonna talk about critics. We're gonna do this little game. We're gonna put a few games in, and I'm gonna have y'all to guess like what scores you think they got and what like there's multiple scores on here. So guess like maybe what's the highest and what's the lowest or something like that. We'll play like that or something. So what game do you want me to enter in here first and find it?
All right, I guess I'll start with. I texted you guys or texted you about a game called Fortnite.
F-O. Well, that game's not out yet. So
I
it
think it's out on PC.
okay. F-O.
I think it's just being released for the PlayStation 4.
And we're dealing with new games.
I'm
No.
only asking because I'm thinking about buying it, and so if I could find out what the ratings are, it might have some impact
get
on
ahead of the curve.
whether or not I'm
Oh,
interested.
yeah, okay.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, it's to be determined.
Son of a
It's not
bitch.
out for PC either.
Oh, I thought it was.
I clicked it for PC, and it
Oh, okay.
says
I thought it
no.
was out. All right.
No. So what else?
Shit.
I mean, did we just throw a random?
Yeah, throw a game out. Go
Yeah,
right.
a
Throw a
random
game.
game. A game maybe you think is good or bad, and then we'll see what the ratings were.
Silent Hill 2.
Okay. Silent. Okay. Silent Hill 2 PS2 game. There we go. All right, now, what do you think its Metacritic score is? Let's do that.
That's like a percentage, right?
Yeah, it's going to be out of 1 to 100,
Okay.
and it's going to be, and it's like what it's. I think it's a compilation of what everybody who does
Yeah.
reviews or the main people.
Okay, that one was very well received, right?
It was.
I'm gonna give it like a 75.
Okay, what would you give it?
I would have at least given it like a. I would have went 85.
85, 89.
Damn.
So Metacritic score of 89.
say that.
The user score is 9.0. I guess
Wow.
it's out of 10. 9.0.
Yeah, probably.
So let's see. What do you think the lowest score it got is?
I'd say about 65.
I was gonna go down to 40.
Let's see. There's no, according to this, they have 34 critic reviews, okay?
Okay.
31 of them are positive, 3 are mixed. So going down.
These are all still percentages.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, the lowest it got, what'd you say it was again? I'm sorry.
You said 65.
65.
I figured 40.
The lowest it got was 70. 70.
Damn.
So all
Pretty
games,
close.
and I guess they're taking like people who do like out of 10 or whatever, they're just equating it to 100%.
I guess so.
So yeah, so that's why they got All Game Guide gave it 70, Game Informer gave it 70, and TotalGames.net gave it 73. 4 Fat Chicks gave it 75.
There you go.
What about because I remember I used to get magazines like.
Maximum Online gave it 80.
What about GamePro?
Game Pro, they might not have it.
Because I don't think GamePro is even still a thing anymore. I used to read a lot of GamePro and a lot
Is that Game? Oh, Game Pro 90 right here.
Damn.
Game Pro gave it 90.
And what was that other one?
IGN gave it 90.
What about Electronic Gaming Monthly? EGM.
Let's see. EGM. G4 TV gave it 100.
And I think PSM gave it like a 7.5
Let's see.
or something like that. Or
Electronic Playground. No, let's see. Game Revolution. Nope. Playboy gave it 85. I didn't know Playboy did reviews.
They do all types of. They just reach out to like male culture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that makes.
Oh, yeah.
Electronic Gaming Monthly?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
It's right here. It's 83. Okay, 83. So overall, 89. All right.
Wow.
What's the next game? He did Silent Hill. What about you?
Okay, what's the? I think it's Legend of something. It's that RPG where you just enter all the movement commands.
Legend Laguina.
Is that what it was called?
Legend of
I thought it was
Lagoon?
like Legaia.
Oh, Laguina, Lagaia.
I think it's Legend of Legaia.
It's where it's just like
Yeah.
it's like high punch, low punch,
You
low
might
punch.
need to tell me how to spell it because I just put Legend of, and it's not pulling.
I'm gonna
up.
pull it up. I have like 10% left on my.
Isn't it
phone.
like Legia?
Legend
Lagaia.
of? It's going straight to Zelda.
Yeah, that's what this is doing. It's all going straight to Zelda.
Yep, this is it. Legend of. I call it Legaia.
What is it spelled? L-E-G?
Legaia.
Ah, I was close.
Legend.
Are there
L-E-G.
sequels?
I want to say there was a second one.
Nope. They don't have it listed in this one.
All right. Well then, you guys. I have some ratings right here from some.
Oh, Legend of Legaia?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and read it out. Well, then we'll play. So.
Oh, I'm saying. I mean, these ratings are not credible sources. I'm gonna tell you
Oh,
that.
all right. Well, then that's probably
I'm looking at
why.
eBay and Emu Paradise.
Never mind it. Okay, what about
Okay, what's it? All right, let's just do Legend of Lagoon. Oh, that was a big one.
Legend Dragoon.
Dragoon. Yeah.
D-R-A.
Because I was about to say that.
Okay, got that one.
Yeah, I figured that
Okay,
one. That
yeah,
one
that one's
very
there.
well received. As well.
Okay, so what do y'all think the overall Metascore is?
93.
Yeah, I was gonna give it probably in the 90s. Yeah, I was gonna go with 90.
74.
What?
Now the user score 8.5.
Okay, that makes a little more sense.
Okay.
All right, that actually does because when I went back and played it a little bit older than when I first played it, I did not enjoy it as much.
Well, look, this
so.
is probably why. There's only 12 reviews here. Okay?
What?
So yeah, so 5 are positive, 6 are mixed, and 1 is negative. So what do you think the negative one gave it? How low?
Probably in the 50s.
To bring it down by that much? Yeah, I mean 40s or 50s.
42.
42.
It was from Game Revolution. They said, despite the hype, Legend of Dragoon is a soulless creature, a subpar game held aloft by deceptive marketing. Don't trust it.
Wow.
Wow.
That's like the quick thing. There's a full review, but I'm not going to read the whole
What
thing.
a jerk.
Okay, Game Critics gave it 50. They say all I can think about is its similarity to Final Fantasy VII and how
God,
stale and unoriginal the whole experience is. It's such a ripoff of Square's Final Fantasy VII that I can't believe Sony hasn't been taken to court for copyright infringement.
Even for me, who was not big in the RPG.
I don't see it as a ripoff.
It's
I can
not.
see the main character visually resembling, yes.
I thought it was kind of enjoyable.
No, I thought it was when I first played it. That was like the shit. And when I played it again, it didn't really hold up to the test of time. So
GamePro gave it 100. Daily Radar gave it 100.
there you go.
PSX Nation gave it 97. Absolute PlayStation gave it 95.
Okay.
But I'm noticing that it was a PlayStation game,
Yeah.
and PlayStation magazines are giving it higher reviews.
of course.
All right, so
Shit is corrupt,
Now,
all right?
this is part of what our conversation. I'm gonna do a few more games, and this is all supposed to lead to our conversation about critics.
Okay,
And
so
what does that mean?
let's try like a multi-platform.
Okay.
What was that really good Spider-Man game that was based off of the movie?
You talking about Spider-Man 2?
It was just called Spider-Man 2. It wasn't
Spider-Man
like
2.
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
No, it was just Spider-Man 2.
That was multi-platform, I think. So let's see how that.
Yeah, it was on, I think, 3 systems.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's see.
I had it for the GameCube.
I don't remember what I had it for.
I don't know. It's not coming up.
So,
'Cause,
what kind of review?
Because
what are we
I
talking
watch a lot of
about
countdowns because since the new Spider-Man movie dropped,
here? Yeah.
and I've been watching like WatchMojo.com and What Culture, and they've been doing like the 10 best Spider-Man games. That one seems to always be number 1.
Yeah, it was fucking good. I don't really know because it really didn't deviate too much from a typical generic sandbox, but it was just fun as shit. I can't explain why it was fun, but it was fun. What about Power Stone? Look up Power Stone.
Well,
It better get a 10 out of 10, 100.
well, if you think about it,
150%.
coming off from the first game, where
But what was different from the first game, if you can recall? Because I don't.
well, I remember what was different is you actually when you shoot the webbing, you really
you
didn't
have to
see-
depend on the buildings.
You didn't see where it went.
Yeah.
In the second one, you have to depend on
You
the
had to
buildings.
use okay, yeah,
And you
yeah.
had multi different ways of web slinging. And you can do two hand, you can do slingshots, you can do web zips, you can do all kinds of different things you couldn't do in the first game.
Okay,
That and it was open world.
I'm so fucking excited for the new Spider-Man.
It was open world, and you
They
did.
don't have
you
Power
can-
Stone,
Oh
but they
my
have
God.
Power Stone 2. Because they have Power Stone Collection and Power Stone 2.
There's a collection. There's only 2 games. That doesn't constitute a collection. All right, well, Power Stone 2. All right, let's come on.
It may not, I don't know. Maybe this thing just doesn't have everything, but it has most.
Clearly, it does not.
All right, so Power Stone 2, what do you think it gave?
All
What's
right,
the better
I'm
score?
just gonna throw any logical.
It's 19 reviews.
Okay, I'm gonna just give it 100 because I want it to be 100 because that shit was fucking awesome.
What?
I don't even know what a fucking Power Stone is.
Power Stone.
I'm sorry.
It was Dreamcast, baby. Power Stone 2, 87.
Good enough. That's not bad.
It had just 19 positive reviews.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's not gonna be
On,
100
on the
'cause-
very short-lived Dreamcast.
Yeah. Yeah. The lowest score, what do you think it got?
50.
It was stayed positive. All of them were positive reviews.
Oh, all of them are positive. Okay.
Probably like a high 60s.
Yeah, I
Or
would-
like 60.
75. Planet Dreamcast 75.
Look at that.
Yep.
That game was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I only
it
got
was.
one magazine from Dreamcast.
Let's do the Batman. I want to do the Batman games because that's cross-platform.
Which ones?
Yeah, which one? Or which
Batman.
one?
I'm gonna do Arkham.
The first
Oh, okay, if we're gonna go into Arkham, then yeah, those would be good reviews. If you want to do like Batman Dark Tomorrow for the GameCube,
Is that
or
the one
something.
that was like super into like scaring your enemies? There was like a fear.
Yeah, and you had the option to arrest them with bat cuffs.
That's stupid. I vaguely recall
Yeah.
that game. Did you play that game where it was just like a Jet Li game?
Oh, Rise to Honor,
Is that what it was called?
where
you just stand in one spot and you like
the
fight with
joystick.
the analog sticks.
Yeah, yeah.
That was
Rise
pretty.
to-
That was pretty fucking
that
cool.
was actually
that was
fun.
pretty fucking.
I'm gonna
cool.
do this one because I have stuff to say about this game.
All right. Which
Arkham
one?
Origins. Arkham Origins. So that one. What do you think? How that one received? That was the
Six.
one that was kind of everybody looks down. on.
Yeah, I would say
I
probably
would have said
50 to 60.
I would have said like 65.
76 overall score.
Damn.
76.
Okay.
User score 7.7. So basically 77.
All right. Compared to the Arkham game before that one.
At Arkham City.
Yeah. Compare.
Oh God. All right.
Because I don't think the issue was that people were like, "Oh, this game sucks," but they were just like, compared to what we were expecting, it just didn't hit it. So that's why I want to.
All right. Arkham Asylum. Well, I mean Arkham City. Excuse me. What do you think?
I'm gonna put it in the 80s, 85.
I would have went to at least like 92.
96.
Damn.
96.
Yeah, that was close.
But you know what? The user score 8.7. So
So
the critics gave it 96.
Critics, yeah. applauded
Users
it.
gave it.
I mean, it's still
8.7.
good, but yeah.
What do you think its lowest score? Let me see. It had a total of 42 reviews,
Okay.
all positive.
I'd say about 82.
I'm gonna go to like 75.
Let's see. The lowest one. A lot of them. There's a lot of hundreds on there. That's what brought that up so high.
Yeah.
Okay. 80.
Damn.
That's the lowest one they got. Now, this is, just so listeners know, this is all just off of Metacritic.com. I just went to Metacritic.com. They got a list of most of the big game review.
Okay. What about what's that game called? No Man's Sky.
Oh, wait. But let me say this, though. All right. I'm going to do No Man's Sky. I'm going to search that while I say this. All
We
right.
should do Rise to Honor.
Arkham Origins gets a bad fucking rap.
Yes, it does.
All right. And
I never played it.
Yeah, but I've played it. And let me tell you
I
something.
played it too.
Let me tell you something. That game, it for all that it had with it, it was just the same game as Arkham City, and that's what people give it shit for. But you know what it did better than Arkham City?
Boss fights.
Thank you. Yes, I think we talked about it. But have you played it?
Yeah,
The boss fights were fucking great.
much better.
They were much better than anything Rocksteady has ever done.
That one between Batman and Deathstroke.
The one between Batman and Bane was fun.
Yeah, that was fun too.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Oh
all
yeah,
those-
because the previous Bane fight was like dodge, throw a batarang.
Yeah,
Yes.
because you had
punch
to
him.
do that. You
Let
had to
him
do
run
that.
into a wall.
Yeah, because you had to do that
Yeah.
with all the other Titans.
Yes.
I don't even want to
So,
think
I
about
mean, anyway, all right. This is an interesting one, too, because the user score and the meta score are real different from each other for No Man's Sky. So, what do you guess is the meta score for No Man's Sky?
Really different. Okay. I mean, all I know, the reason why I asked is because everyone was like super fucking. Are you guys familiar with this game?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
familiar
So
with
everyone
it.
was super fucking excited, and then it was like, this game's awesome for like a week, and then it just fucking plummeted. So I was wondering where it was at. I don't know. So which one am I guessing for?
The Metacritic score, so the one for all the reviewers.
Okay, so for like the actual critics, not like the user score.
Yeah,
Okay.
the critics. What do you think the critics gave it?
No, I guess. What are these like?
Okay, I'll give you a hint. Okay, it had 95 critic reviews.
Damn.
All right, one was negative, 54 were mixed, 40 were positive.
Wow.
So, what do you think the overall score is?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was like 79.
I'm gonna put it up closer to 90.
71.
Wow.
The score was 71. What do you think the user score is?
I was gonna say 52.
No,
I was gonna go lower than that.
it is lower than that.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
30 or something like
No,
that.
that's not 4.5. So it'd be 45.
45.
Yeah, I guess if you're gonna do it in tens. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
So, what do you think the lowest score is? What do you think the lowest score is for the No Man's Sky? It's the red. It's negative. There's only one.
I was
It's
gonna say
negative.
that.
So for the critics, this is for the critics. So,
Oh, I don't know. Shit. 60. No, if it's in the negatives, it
gonna
would
say-
have to be less than 50. I'm
I
guessing.
think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
less than
Okay.
50.
All right. I'll put it at the 40.
I was gonna say 30.
Timmy, one, you got it 40. You got it right on the money.
Wow. No. I'll say
You win nothing. Like, all right. You win a copy of No Man's Sky.
Shove it up your big fat ass.
There you go.
All right.
finally a point for Tim.
I know.
All right, so we were just playing a little game and guessing some of the games of the reviews, but basically, we've seen sometimes these reviews can be very different from users to critics. Sometimes the users critics match up, and like sometimes you'll notice like PlayStation game, PlayStation gives it higher reviews than the other critics do. Where like that, I think it was the Legend of Dragoon that we looked at. That was like, yeah, like. The PlayStation, all that was, oh, this is great. And then some at the bottom were like, oh, this is Final Fantasy ripoff. Yeah. So let's start by this. What game, where do you get your review information? Okay, I listen to a couple different things. I listen to Kind of Funny Games. They review games, but don't really do scores and stuff like this. I read IGN. I'm one of those guys. I like IGN. I think they're okay. I think they get a lot of the news out quickly, and it's easy to scroll through, and I find them fairly well written. So that's what I do. So what do you do, Tim?
I don't go anywhere for like review scores like at all because I just don't trust people's opinions. I look for just like factual descriptions of like game mechanics,
yeah.
Or soundtrack. I kind of ignore it because I don't know what this person thinks is a good soundtrack. Things like that. So it's hard, which is one reason why I was just kind of curious about the Fortnite because I've been looking at it and I don't really know what to expect right now. And I was like, I don't know if I want to drop money on this thing.
Yeah.
So what the things I look for is just like raw footage of just gameplay, like people not talking. or if they are talking, it's just very minimal and just whatever. But a review, the last time I made a decision based off of review scores was Horizon. Horizon, the one with the dinosaurs, the robot dinosaurs for PlayStation 4. Is that the wrong name?
It might be. Is that? Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. You play as a female?
Yeah.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. I've heard great stuff about it from a lot of places.
So I heard great stuff.
Wait,
It has excellent
is that
reviews.
the game by the makers of Mega Man?
No.
Is that the same
I don't
No,
think
that's
so.
not it. You're thinking of something different.
am I?
No, this isn't it. This is like an RPG type game. Yeah.
They're all the same.
You're talking about Mighty Nine or some shit
No,
like that.
no, I'm talking about there is another game where it's a female protagonist and everything. It's set in like this robotic steampunk.
Okay, no, this is not it. This is set in like a primitive. I mean, it's in the future, but it's like you're running around and you're basically like.
I heard the storyline and everything broken down, and it sounded interesting. And
See,
it sounded cool.
the storyline didn't catch me at all. I didn't give a fuck about it. And it may have just been the way it was presented, because a lot of it is just like audio files that you find, and a lot of it is like there's a lot of time where you just activate this audio file and you kind of stand there and just like watch these two holograms kind of talk. And it's not presented in like a cinematic experience. It's like you can walk around and stuff. And so I just like put the controller down and I'm like waiting for them to finish talking so I can move on. But anyway, I picked it up because I was like, wow, this is getting excellent reviews. And honestly, because I was like, this is like the first, it may not be the first, but it's one of the first that comes to my mind where you have like a female protagonist who is not like objectified, And so I was like, all right, this might be really interesting. And it was just, it started out really fun. Because like all these different dinosaurs, you got to approach them in different ways. And it very, very quickly just became super tedious and monotonous. And I quickly lost interest. There was like very little to, it's like discover. There was like zero incentive to explore. You just get these maps that tell you where everything is, and it just becomes like fetch quests for like the entire. And I was like, dude, this blows. It's like this blows.
Yeah. Ryan, do you like watch YouTube videos on games and stuff, or do you get your reviews somewhere else, or do you do any reviews?
I used to get my reviews from just two sources, which was IGN and GT.
Okay.
Game trailers. I don't even know if they're still around.
No, I think they're not. I thought I heard that something about them shutting down or something like that. Game trailers. Yeah.
I mean, I have the app. I mostly just go on YouTube and watch people play it and kind of see that, or if one of you guys have it or is playing it, can give me some feedback on it. Yeah. Because, I mean, I used to drown in the game magazine reviews saying that it's great, and then I would go buy it, play it, and it's terrible.
Do you know a game in particular you remember that was like that for you?
Dead to Rights 2.
Okay.
They gave it like a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
And I remember being a fan of the first Dead to Rights. So I went out.
That was the one
bought
that
it.
they put a lot of emphasis on. You could like go in strip clubs or some shit like that. Okay.
That sounds just like Ryan.
Yeah, exactly.
Excuse me?
That was beautiful.
Are you saying that's what I meant to?
Yeah, basically.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
So, but
Mamma mia!
yeah, it just wasn't what the critics said it was.
Yeah, that happened to me with they had this game called, I think it's Blink or Brink. I think Blink.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They got good reviews.
Oh, that game sucked ass.
It was a multiplayer online game.
Yep.
And me and Eric were like, oh yeah, we're going to get this game and play. And it was the most monotonous, boring,
That
fucking
was terrible.
bullshit.
I remember
I hated that fucking game.
my buddy, he when it was coming out, he worked at GameStop, and so I guess he's constantly seeing the trailer going on in the background. So
Yeah.
we're talking, and he's like, "Have you seen this game yet?" And I was like, "I mean, I know about it or whatever." He's like, "You got to check out this trailer, man! Like this thing was awesome." And I watched the trailer, and it was all like cinematic footage. So it finishes.
I hate that
Yep,
trailers
it
like to
finishes,
do that
and he
for
was like,
games.
"Doesn't that look awesome?" And I'm like, "I didn't see a second of gameplay." I said, "I
Nope.
have no idea what this game is." And he
Yep.
kind of like stopped and was like, "Oh." And he was like, "I don't know. I'm still excited though, man. Like it looks cool." And I was like, "All right."
That was what happened with
Picked it
Halo
up.
5.
He brought it back like the day it came out. At the time, we were renting an apartment together. He brings it back and he was like, "All right, here we go. We check it out." We played that shit for like 40 minutes and we were like, "Dude, this fucking sucks." And he was just like, "Damn it."
But it got good reviews, like fair reviews. I think it was like 70s and 80s for the
Yeah.
most part. And it tripped me out.
That game sucked.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. But
Yeah.
anyways, like for me personally, I like critic reviews. But it doesn't really influence me to buy a game or not. But I always just curious, what are people saying about this game? So I'll look at that. I'll look IGN. I typically look at, and then I'll listen to a couple game podcasts, and they'll talk about all the new games coming out. So I'll get to see what some people say. You know, it's funny. A lot of people talk good about Horizon, like you were just doing, but you were talking, bad about it. And they have this podcast, Nude Clan. And they do is they pick games, not always new games. They typically do like older games, and they'll like rate them, review them, pick them apart, and they'll play them from beginning to end, and they'll stream it and all that. And they played Horizon, and all the guys there gave it fairly good reviews, except for one guy, and he was like, "No, like he didn't like this game." Like, no.
Me and that guy, I'm going to have to follow that guy if I'm looking for reviews. I'm like, you and me were on the same page. This game sucks.
So let me see if I can play this.
You guys ever played a game where you didn't even care what the review was? You were gonna play it anyway?
Yeah, Duke Nukem. I did that. Duke Nukem got shit reviews, but I was like, I never really played Duke Nukem in the 90s. And I was like, I want to play Duke Nukem. I've always wanted to play it, but I never really got around to playing it. I was young, and
And when it was hot, we weren't allowed to play it.
Yeah, exactly. And it was kind of tough to get my hands on.
I remember playing
So,
Duke Nukem.
but I wanted to play Duke Nukem. So the new one came out, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to
Duke
jump
Nukem
on
Forever?
board. Yes. I'm going to jump on board with this game. And it got shit reviews.
Yeah.
And I got it, and it was
The
okay.
The criticism I heard is that the game, since it was in production for like a decade plus,
Yes.
Yeah, because 3D Realms and another company kept
it
butting
was
heads
just
on it.
yeah. And so the thing, a friend of mine said, he was like, "Look, when Duke Nukem was hot, if this game would have came out, it would have been well received. It would have been great. All the jokes would have been
Yeah.
relevant."
Yeah.
And he says, "But now that it came out so much later, and like none of that content was just updated,
Yeah.
he said everything just falls flat." And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. You know?
Yeah. I thought the gameplay was okay. The jokes and stuff, like a lot of the criticism I saw was kind of what we were talking about in Kabuki Man. When we talked about the Kabuki Man movie having things that are just not part of the
Yeah, it's just
PC
not
culture we're
acceptable
in.
anymore.
Because he's this guy, he's like getting blowjobs from girls and stuff, and he's like treating them like, I don't want to say he treats them like shit. He doesn't really do anything, but he's just like, they're just object stuff. Like, and he's just like, dude, that's like from the 90s.
Yeah.
And it's not really up to date with what's, now.
Like one, I was gonna say one of the games because I played the only Duke Nukem games I played was Duke Nukem Time to Kill and the sequel to it, which is Duke Nukem and the Planet of the Babes.
Yeah.
Which is it's pretty much you just go to a planet where all these women are objectified by the aliens, and Duke Nukem has to save and sleep with all of them.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Wonderful.
that was the thing.
Right. It's like it was.
Recipe for success.
Yeah. That was the thing back then, though, that it was okay. Nowadays, it's different.
Yeah.
Because all the reviews, I don't want to say, I've read a couple, more than just IGN. And most of the reviews that I read were more picking on Duke Nukem as a character and, like, the story of it, which,
Right.
I mean, is the biggest part of that
Everything
game.
I've heard is that like the game as a shooter, it's fun. It's a shooter,
Yeah.
And as you said,
Exactly.
the reason why it's just not well received is because it's just culturally in the past.
Exactly. So I mean, it was okay, but anyways, getting past that, reviews and stuff, they can definitely influence what we buy, how we buy. Maybe not just not us, but like a lot of different people. I mean, you see bad reviews. I mean, it was one of the things behind Doom. Bethesda basically said, look, we're not giving pre-release games for you to review and drop reviews out before our game's out. We are going to you can get the game when everybody else does, and you can review it then. And like it caused a little bit of an uproar in the community. Like after they said that, I seen like a bunch of articles on IGN, and then I heard them talk about it on different podcasts I listened to. Like, oh, well, what does this mean? Da, da, da. And because like one of the things they were trying to say is they were like, well, before Doom came out, they were told like they didn't get it, and they were like, well, we didn't get this early. Typically, we get games that are on like scheduled to be good. Like, oh, this is going to be, because typically sometimes you get an idea like, oh, this is going to be a good game.
Well, yeah, you get certain games that people are going to notice and then track, and then other games are like, what? All right,
yeah. Well, this game was kind of tracked like, oh, this might be good.
Well, but then when they also a huge company.
Yes,
like anything they pump out is going to get attention.
Yeah, but they didn't give a game to the critics for a review before it comes out. So then everybody was like, oh, well, maybe it sucks. Because sometimes that's what companies do. If their game sucks and they know it sucks, they're not going to give it out for a review before it's released. They're going to hold it and give the review. You get it when everybody else does, and you can review it then. So, but Bethesda decided, no, we're just going to take this stand as a whole. So, I don't know. Do you think that hurts or helps?
I don't know if it would hurt or help. I know for me, I like that stance. Because I feel like, there's definitely, you get these critics, there's definitely going to be biased opinions, people who, just like you said with the Legend of Dragoon, all the PlayStation guys were like, oh, this is fucking great, and then everyone else was like, y'all don't get deceived here, like this is just an RPG, and so like there's a certain element of like, look, you can review it when it comes out, and so we can have our players can make the decision to buy it based off of the information that we have released, the footage that you have seen. Everyone's on the same page, and then everyone can make a decision when they actually pick up that controller and they play that game. For the guys who are going to get it on the day it releases. Yeah. So I like that. This is coming from someone who I give zero shits about critic reviews. I have no faith in critic reviews. I never really even look at it. I like scores do nothing for me. I wouldn't say nothing, but it's not like at the top of what kind of helps me make my decision on whether or not I'm going to watch this movie, read this book, play this game, whatever. It's going to be a mix of like, all right, this has shitty reviews, and I'm looking at it, and it looks pretty shitty, so okay. But if I'm like, it looks good to me, and it's got crap, I'm like, well, all right, wait a minute, then I'm going to do some research and, make
but sometimes, too, it just depends, like, because sometimes there might be a game, maybe you're really into RPGs. Like you like certain things about like RPGs, like maybe you like it in olden days or something like that, right? So a game comes out and it hits all those marks for you, but it gets bad reviews. You're probably going to be like, well, but this is like my thing, so maybe I will like it. Maybe they just don't like it because they're looking at it overall, and then you get it. And sometimes you do like it.
And I would definitely say, if I knew, and there's probably some guy out there who's reviewing games. He might just be like some amateur guy on YouTube whose opinions just really click with me. There's someone out there, And if there was someone out there that knew who that was, then I would, okay, there's a game coming out. Let me see what this guy has to say about it.
I'm going to play this because it kind of speaks what you're just saying. And I thought this would be a good thing to kind of maybe talk a little bit about and see if you agree with it or not, because I thought this was kind of interesting. It's a long thing. I'm only going to play like a minute of it or less than that maybe. But because just the first couple things he was talking about I thought was kind of interesting.
Game critics fucking suck. Right, guys?
Yeah. See, YouTube Comments agrees with me, and we already know that YouTube Comments is the premier location for intellectual gaming critiques harboring only the most cutting-edge scholars, such as middle schooler.
I hate this guy.
But what separates this guy from this guy? Well, this guy gets paid to say stupid shit. The first issue I have with gaming outlets is how their opinions are so decentralized. When you have multiple writers working on a website, you can lose track of who's actually talking.
Breathe easy, Sonic fans. Sega got this one right.
Sonic the Hedgehog 4, I think was pretty mediocre.
Sonic is good again.
Sonic was never good.
Numerous fun titles.
Sonic was never good.
The levels are great.
There are no good Sonic the Hedgehog games.
Super true.
Super detailed backgrounds and excellent animation.
Now those flips, they were saying Sonic's never good, and they were showing all, and this is IGN, and he's showing all these IGN scores of 8.5, 8.5 for the Sonic games.
Okay.
But then they're having this discussion where they're saying the Sonic suck, just to put that in reference.
There are no good Sonic the Hedgehog games.
Fantastic level design.
Sonic is awesome, right? Yeah.
Just this year alone, IGN has featured over 37 different reviewers. When you see a video from Pro Jared or Total Biscuit or Angry Joe, you know exactly whose point of view it's coming from. Now pick a review from IGN, you have just entered the fucking lottery. It's important to build an understanding between the critic and the viewer. Every review you do should feel like an extension of the last until your audience understands what kind of games you respond to. It's also important to acknowledge your shortcomings as a reviewer. Mine personally is that I have
This
no
guy sounds
fucking
like
patience
Luigi
at all.
from
Pretty much throw any RPG at me, I'm just gonna say, nah, that's boring. But you know what's dumber than
So just a little bit, I was playing to him. I thought some of it.
Yeah, but I definitely agree with what he's saying.
Yes.
You got to find someone whose opinions click with you.
Yes.
And then say, like, this is the guy I'm going to trust.
It's weird because two of the guys he mentioned are
Angry Joe.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Angry Joe.
Yeah.
Angry Joe and Pro Jared. I watched them both.
Yeah, okay.
And as far as reviews, I think that him and The Completionist.
Okay.
I'll watch them a lot, and that's where I get my reviews from.
Okay. So, and I think that's kind of an interesting point because that is true. I've heard even like stuff from IGN. I listened to some of IGN's podcast, and I've listened. I just kind of listen to whoever, whatever. But I think that guy makes a valid point though that a lot of times IGN, you hear them say, "Well, yeah, IGN put out a review, but this guy's like, well, I didn't agree with that review." Because I feel different. Everybody's got different opinions. And, well, that's true. Everybody does have different opinions. But when you have 35 people and they're saying this is the opinion of IGN, well, you can get a mixed bag of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that could be maybe more of the future of gaming critics where you have personalities that you line up with that will say, oh, this game's good or oh, this game's bad. And maybe you can put more weight into what they say than just some magazine that puts out some shit. And it's interesting. Some of the when we were doing that game of playing the critics and seeing what scores they got, the older the games were, the more reviews were out there because more and more people are reviewing games now. It's become more of like a business, more of a way to make money. And in that, I think Ryan, you had a bit about like a scandal type deal that went down on somebody getting paid off for reviews or something like that.
Yeah.
You were talking about? You want to talk about that?
I've read some articles where they had companies that were paying critics for a good review.
Why don't you take...
Thank you, Joe Pesci. I didn't really read too much into it, but I didn't. So y'all were talking about Doom, and I do agree with you guys. That was a good. I thought that was good on their part that they kind of held that game back.
And it was a good game, but it got
was a great game.
mediocre reviews, actually.
Oh, really? Because like when it came out, it was all over Reddit, nothing but praise.
Yes, it did get a lot of praise, but some of the... and you know what? Why don't you keep going on that? I'm going to actually look up the Doom reviews right quick, because I think that'd be an interesting one. But anyways, like you were saying, what was the game that got the reviews that it was... paid for? Because you were telling me about it.
Yeah, I can't think of it because I know it wasn't one particular game. It was a bunch of companies were doing that. They were lending out their demos and their gameplay to certain people for a good score.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. If you control who's putting out the reviews as well, like that's going to skew the general perception.
And I would say bigger companies, though, like I think, and maybe my opinion's wrong, but I think bigger companies like IGN and stuff may be less susceptible to bribes for game reviews than maybe somebody who's doing it on their own that may not have as big of a following. Because when you have something big like IGN, well, there's a bunch of different reviewers and stuff like that. I kind of doubt they're reaching out to these people like the person. I don't know how much anybody knows who's reviewing a game before the review comes out. So, but if you know, I'm just using him as for instance, because it's the name that came on top of my head, but like something like Angry Joe, well, that's just one guy. And you can reach out to him. And you can, hey, you want some of this money? Because, you know, one of the things some of these YouTubers have been getting hit with is apparently YouTube did this new thing where they edit, they can kind of weed out more of who's vulgar or who curses or whatever. And businesses are kind of being like, okay, if anybody says this or does this on their videos, I don't want to put advertisements on there. Well, if most everybody is throwing fucks around in their YouTube videos, which most do,
yeah,
okay, now they just got cut out from advertising. So the advertisers only going to the people keeping it clean, you know? And I mean, that's the advertiser's choice. I'm not saying anything for or against that. I mean, you make your call on what you want to do, and those guys make their calls on what they want to do. But I think after that PewDiePie incident that happened, are you familiar with that, Tim?
No. I mean, I know who that is, but I don't know what incident you're talking about.
There was a big thing that happened with him. He did some, apparently, it's kind of a scandal thing. The news, I think Wall Street Journal actually, misrepresented him in their articles where he did this video. There was like a joke on people being Nazis or Nazis. And I think he dressed up like a Nazi and he made some kind of jokes about it.
Oh boy.
So, but it was, if you watch the video, you see that he was being comical. Like he was making fun of this or people who would do this, right? From my understanding, and I could be wrong, but my understanding is how it goes. And so, but the Wall Street cut snippets of his videos and put out this article like, oh, look what he's doing, da 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 da. And it took some of the things he said out of context. Now, people who follow PewDiePie, which is actually like almost 10,
he's like one of the biggest.
He's like almost 10 times bigger than Wall Street Journal.
Yeah,
what they get as people checking enormous. In. So yeah, he is. So over time, I think things have smoothed out. But now it's got advertisers, stuff like that has advertisers concerned on what they're advertising. Because if some guy's dressing up like a Nazi doing crazy shit, and then buy my toothpaste. You know, here's the Nazi again, you know, or whatever the case is. Like, even though that, you know, that's a joke, it's damaged them. So, if
I get the logic there.
So, the stretch I'm making before you go is that, like, if you have YouTubers who are reviewing games and they're having problems getting money because of advertising not coming to them because of the content on their videos, then yes, maybe it could make some of them more susceptible than somebody like IGN, who has a built network of reviews as well as video content and podcasts and all this kind of stuff, where they might not be as susceptible to it or not. That's what I'll say.
I mean, okay, yeah, but at the same time, if you've got one of these, let's call them small-time reviewers, you know, and I
don't think Angry Joe's a small time.
He's not small time.
I just used him as an example.
Yeah, but I mean, this is like the idea is that the company, big, you know, game companies would approach small time reviewers because they'd be more likely to be enticed by bribery. This is like the general argument that's being made. So yeah, they would say, oh yeah, this game's great. Small time reviewers are going to have that small. The words escapes me right now. Basically a small following of people who, this is what we're talking about, would be the people who are like, this critic, this guy, I trust his opinion. It wouldn't take too long for him to be like, the fuck happened? And then just stop following him. Because he's like, well, this guy, we're not on the same page anymore.
Yeah,
you know?
That's true.
And so that's the risk you run. Whereas with a big company like IGN, you got like 37 different people representing.
You can hide that.
Exactly.
That's true too. That's a good point. That's a good point you made. But anyways, just talking shit with these critics and all that, like, I mean, to me, I think there's always going to be room for game critics, and I think it's always interesting to hear what people got to say. I mean, it's the source of like a lot of podcasts. A lot of podcasts are just talking about games they play. You know, we do it a little different. We don't really talk about games we play or do reviews or any of that shit because we just want to try and build a different lane. And there might be a few podcasts I just haven't come across that do something similar to us, but a lot of them seem to revolve around reviews, talking about games, whether it be like structured reviews with scores or just casual conversations about games. That's the basis of most video game podcasts, you know, that are out there. And maybe even, I don't know how many YouTube channels are dedicated to the same thing, but I'd have to assume a lot as well. So, but I mean, you're saying, you know, you'll look at them maybe, Tim, I'm talking to you. You'll look at them maybe, but they're not really the important decision
I don't put a
maker.
whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I try to pick out what I can see is just factual, unbiased, just data. So
Yeah.
I can build my own opinion based off of, you know, like if I can see, and if he's like, wow, the controls are really smooth, and I see that, I'm like, okay.
But you don't really watch a lot of Twitch streaming though.
No, I've never been on Twitch before in my life.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and set you up with that. You might like to watch some of that stuff. I mean, I think it's interesting. I mean, there's basically people just playing these games. You can see people play it and see how it looks. See how it looks them playing it. You don't have to watch the whole thing for hours.
Yeah.
But it's some cool stuff. I mean, I was watching a guy for a little bit do a speed run of Final Fantasy VII, and it was just kind of playing through the whole game. And it's just kind of a way.
I normally find myself, if I have the free time to watch someone play a video game, I just want to play my own video game. Like that's pretty much that's where I'm at.
Hey, that's cool too. That's no problem with that. So Ryan, I think you lightly dabble with the games nowadays, but not as much as you used to. But I mean, that
is correct.
When you bought games or that and all that, when you were a little heavier into it, did reviews were that make or break, or it was like, nah, this is my game, my lane. I don't care what a review says.
I actually depended on a lot of what the magazine said.
Yeah,
and I don't know. I was just that kind of gamer that if GamePro says this is a 4.5 out of, well, I think the highest score was a 4.5 at the time.
It's probably a 5. I would assume.
Probably. So 4.5 out of 5. Yeah, it's probably 5.
Okay.
Solid 5.
Well, yeah. If you're giving it all across the board 4.5s, I'm thinking this game is fantastic.
Yeah.
And then I go out and I spend $49.99 on a brand new game.
Yeah.
During like the PlayStation or PS2 era, and then I'd bring it home and be like, "Well, this is not.
It's
what I
not
thought
that
it was
good."
gonna be." Right.
The only game that comes to mind that I feel was consistent with the scores that I saw was actually, for me, and I know Seth's going to disagree with me, but Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain. That's because
actually no, I think it deserves its good scores. The problem with Metal Gear Solid 5 for me was a personal opinion. I think. Yeah, like I would have probably gave it an 8 out of 10. All right, I'd probably give it 8 out of 10, not a perfect 10.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of perfect 10s.
Yeah, that's what caught my eye.
I would have got an 8 out of 10. The problem I had with Final Fantasy 5, and I actually seen some people say the same thing.
Metal Gear Solid 5.
Oh, yeah, Metal Gear Solid 5. What did I say?
You said Final Fantasy.
Whatever.
I don't think you've ever played Final Fantasy 5.
No, I have not. Metal Gear Solid 5. The problem I had with it was it wasn't the streamlined story that I'm used to getting from the Metal Gear games, because I was in on those cutscenes just as much as the gameplay. And this open world gameplay, it took me out of the cutscenes. I felt like the story of it all.
4 was like watching a movie.
Yes, it was like playing and watching.
I think it was mostly cutscenes. I'm pretty sure the game is mostly cutscenes.
That's fine, but that was the charm of it to me, and it was good gameplay mixed in.
Yeah,
you can have a lot of fun playing, and it was open-ish. Like Metal Gear 2, you can go back and forth, and you can you can like hold up people and drag them places, or just do whatever. You can like fuck with people in the game. That was fun. Like you could have fun while like doing that game. It wasn't just
especially
like,
getting those dog tags.
Yeah, doing stuff, making them shimmy and dance, and you know what you could do stuff. Metal Gear Solid 2, I really enjoyed. I played the shit out of that game.
We played the shit out of it too.
Yes, 2 was great. Which was another one of those games that had mixed reviews because people didn't like. Yeah, they didn't like him.
Every magazine I read gave it like a perfect score.
Really?
People were just pissed that
there was. I think it was probably. I think that's going to be where the critics gave it a good score,
but the users pissed on it because they were like, "Oh yeah, it's Snake," because you start in a boat and you're Snake, and you're like, "Here we go," and then it's like, "Okay, oh shit, this is like the first game coming underwater again," and got the suit, unzip the suit. Who the fuck is that? Yeah, that was pretty much what happened.
Blonde-haired bitch.
Who is this?
I was like, man, I get to play a chick.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, this is only temporary.
He kills Big Boss's dick, then puts the dick on him, and then he becomes Ninja Raiden. We've already discussed this in an earlier episode, and that's how it happened.
So you mean to tell me that Solidus
is just a piece.
Solidus is Big Boss's dick. That's why he has the eye patch. You've already made that discovery. You go listen to it in an earlier episode where we break it down. Regardless.
Is that why he was One-Eye Snake?
Yes.
Very well.
So, but anyways, all right. I think we've beaten this enough, and we're going to. I'm actually going to pause it for just a second to get some stuff straight, but we're going to go back in time with those Startropics. All right, guys, we're back, although it was only a split second for y'all. And we go. Startropics. Now,
this just makes me feel like warm inside. Like,
I bet it does.
This just like, you know, when you have like those like nostalgic experiences, it just makes you think of home. Like this is what it's doing for me right now.
Yep.
This was a lot of hours as a kid.
Yep. So, what are your memories of it and all that? What do you?
Let's see. Remember you fought with a yo-yo, and that's probably what kind of kicked us off into getting into yo-yos when we were
probably. But then yo-yos were big in the 90s.
I'm saying, but they were just
90s. They had
it was the connection there. You know?
Yeah.
I don't remember if it was the first one or the second one where you got into a lot of time travel. I can't remember that.
I don't even remember a second one, to be honest, but I saw this one on here.
I thought I thought we played them both.
We might have. I just don't remember it.
I know one of them you started traveling through time, and you'd go to like all these different, like very typical, just like eras of time. The one I remember is you're in like, you know, old like England. You know, when it's just kind of getting into like steam powered.
Dude, I don't remember.
You don't remember none of that? Oh no. Man! And I remember
I remember the first one.
It would be like
I don't remember that.
It would be like a. You would go from like a world map-esque kind of scenario, and then you'd go into like these caves, and then it would switch the entire perspective. And the really cool thing about it is that, I mean, the fighting was relatively simple. Like you just move and hit people with a yo-yo. But they did that. They did that one small tweak that really just kind of turned it over on its head. And I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
In 2 or?
I think it's in both of the games, if I remember right. But so with the way they would structure each room, because this was, you know, this is Nintendo, so this was like you go to a room and the whole screen moves and you're in another room.
Yeah.
And so
that was typically how PC games had to operate.
That was just like how things went.
Mario changed the game for that.
Yeah.
And then PC slowly caught on. That was John Carmack and John Romero did Doom. They're the ones who figured that out. But anyways.
The thing that this game, and as a kid, I wasn't like consciously aware of why this was so fucking cool. But like when I think back on it, I was like, it was just such a simple twist. And it was by structuring the rooms by the platforms that you have to jump. That's how you move around the room.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so what it turned into is you have the enemies on the platforms and they would be jumping. And so every move you make is you're making a commitment. And like you run the risk of them jumping into you. And that little small thing is what like just gave it just that little extra bit of spice to make it more fun than just like running around a square room trying to hit them. Like typically like Zelda at the time.
Yeah.
Is that you just run around, and you hit them with your sword, and I'm not being critical. Like, it's a good game.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things that really jumps out about Startropics is that they really focused these rooms that you had to puzzle out. You had to kill all the enemies to get through it.
Yeah.
They added that little small addition to it, and it just added this whole new level of complexity and like puzzle solving. And that is what really jumps out to me about that game.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, that was a good part of it. I liked also that when you could jump, they would have invisible platforms. So like if you would just make a jump in the wrong area, but it would just and then a new platform would be right there. And then there would be different aspects where sometimes the platforms would disappear, so you'd have to jump at them at certain times.
Yep.
And then there were also secret areas where if you like hit the wall,
yeah,
and then you would get upgrades to different types of yo-yos, and some of those yo-yos would throw projectiles and stuff like that. With
The game was just really fucking cool.
Yeah. The story of it says it follows.
I don't remember the story at all.
Follows Mike as he travels to visit his uncle, an archaeologist by the name of Dr. Steve Jones.
Okay.
At his laboratory on the fictional Sea Island in the so-called South Seas. When Mike arrives at Dr. Jones' home in the tropical village of Coralacola.
All right.
It almost looks like Coca-Cola, but it's like Coralacola. He finds that his uncle has gone missing. Dr. Jones' assistant gives Mike a special yo-yo to defend himself and permits Mike to use his uncle's submarine to search for him. On a nearby island, Mike finds a bottle with a message from Dr. Jones. I remember this bottle,
I remember this, yeah.
Stating that he has been abducted by extraterrestrials.
Hell yeah.
Traveling to many of the isles of the South Seas, Mike encounters monsters, labyrinths, quirky characters, and many intelligent animals, including a talking parrot and a mother dolphin.
I don't remember.
Looking for
I remember
his
the
son.
dolphin.
Yeah, I do remember.
I think you get to ride around the dolphin, if I remember.
All in the search for his lost uncle. There was actually a thing where there was a code. This was the thing that did it before Metal Gear did it, where there was like a certain code, and I think it was on the box of the game.
Talking about Konami?
Yeah, because Metal Gear did a thing.
Has that like universal code for
to call.
Oh, you talking about Contra?
No.
Konami
Metal Gear Solid. Maybe Contra did it too. I don't know, but Metal Gear Solid did a thing where they told you to call somebody, but you had to figure out their code. And their code, Meryl, I think it is. But her, it was on the box.
Oh,
so you had to look at the box. Well, Startropics did something similar to that too.
I vaguely recall this.
And like it was something when you get to the whale's mouth or something like that. There was some kind of code you needed,
and
to get it, it was on the box.
That's fucked up.
Because I remember seeing a thing about Startropics being released on the virtual consoles,
and everyone's like,
"But
shit,
you don't have the box." So maybe I think.
I mean, at this point, you just Google that shit.
Yeah, something on the internet has it, but that was like a thing for it too. So it might have been one of the first ones to do that, unless maybe Contra came up before it.
No, we were talking about Konami as that like popular. It's like a cheat code. It's like left, right, up, whatever it is.
It's called the Konami code.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's pretty much to get 99 lives in Contra.
We were on totally different wavelengths there.
Yeah. The publisher for that game was Nintendo, and developers was Nintendo IRD. So I mean, it was all Nintendo that did this.
All right. So there's no time traveling.
Why isn't he in Smash Brothers? That would be fucking awesome.
Because Ness already has a yo-yo.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
That's like,
Fuck
get
that
Ness out.
punk ass
Honestly,
out. This dude fought fucking aliens.
Honestly, Earthbound is. I've been meaning to play Earthbound just because it's praised heavily praised.
Yeah.
I've never been around.
I think I saw something about it coming to the Switch.
I mean, I can get it
One
on
of the
my
earlier
I can get it on
versions.
my 3DS, and I just haven't gotten around to buying it.
So anyways, near the end of the game, Mike finds Dr. Jones and learns that the aliens had captured him because he had discovered a crashed escape pod from a faraway planet called Argona?
Sure.
This escape pod contained 3 magic cubes, which are now in the hands of the aliens.
I'm remembering
Zoda.
the cubes.
Infiltrating their spaceship, I remember that was the last levels going
Yeah.
into their spaceship. Mike recovers the 3 cubes and defeats Zoda, then escapes as the spaceship self-destructs. After Mike returns to Sea Island, the cubes are placed together and a small group of children appear. The leader of the children, Mika, explains that they are the last of the Argonians, their home planet having been destroyed, and that their father, King Huracan, Sent them to Earth to live in peace. The village chief invites the children to live with them in Coca-Cola, to which they accept, and the game ends with everybody now celebrating.
Okay. So does he stuff bananas in his ears at any point in this game? Did you read that at all? One of those games, the final scene is him stuffing his ears with bananas. So there's a second game.
What?
And in that second game, he travels through time.
Let's see if they have Startropics, because that came up too. So Startropics 2. Startropics 2, Zoda's Revenge.
Yep.
Startropics 2. Damn. That one got good reviews.
I was going to say, what are the reviews since we were talking about
I'm going to go
reviews?
back to it in a
Okay.
minute. Let's see. Zoda's Revenge, Startropics 2. Let's see. What's this? You know, for an NES game, that is a very intricate plot. Like an intricate story.
I think that's why, like, when I was playing it at the age, none of that shit was clicking with me. I was just, like, digging, jumping around, shooting shit with yo-yos, you know? Like, I didn't really remember any of that.
Okay, the story begins with Mike receiving a telepathic message from Micah, the princess of the Argonians, who Micah rescued in the previous game. She tells him how to solve a cipher that he and his uncle, Dr. J, found on the side of the Argonian space pod. Mike goes to see Dr. J, and together they solve the cipher, read it out loud, cause Mike to be flung into the past.
Hell yeah, that's
he
the game I
arrives
remember.
in the Stone Age.
Yep.
And after helping a tribe of cavemen retrieve their children from flesh-eating wild boar, he finds an object.
All with a yo-yo.
Let me see. He finds an object which Micah telepathically identifies as a tetrad, or block in the Virtual Console version. From here, so the second one's in the Virtual Console too. Okay. From here, Mike's journey sends him to different eras throughout Earth's history to retrieve the rest of the Tetra, such as ancient Egypt, the Renaissance period, and the Middle Ages. He even helps Sherlock Holmes prevent a
That's the one I
robbery
was
at the
talking about.
museum.
That's the one I was talking about. Yeah, that's the one I remember.
Damn, that's pretty cool. He discovers that Zoda, the alien leader that he had destroyed in a previous adventure, is alive in Holmes' time period and is also trying to collect the Tetrads. Mike defeats Zoda again, claims the Tetrad that Zoda tried to steal, based on the fact that Zoda referred to himself as Zoda X. Holmes deduces that there are likely to be a Zoda Y and a Zoda Z somewhere in time as well. This is proven to be true, so Mike later faces and defeats Zoda Y in Transylvania. And he recovers the last of the Tetrads. Micah contacts Mike and tells him that Zoda Z has attacked Sea Island, where the Argonians are staying. So he returns to the present and fights Zoda Z. After finally defeating Zoda, chief of Sea Island, who boasts that Tetris is his middle name, through the Virtual Console re-release, changes it to Puzzle.
That's
Helps
weird.
Mike put the Tetras together. When they're together, Heracorn, the leader of the Argonians, and Micah's father appear from the Tetras, leads them back home to the planet to rebuild.
Those games were my shit. I used to play the fuck out of those games.
They give them a lot of good reviews and stuff like that. So, I mean, yeah, I don't remember the second one.
At the end of the second one, he stuffs his ears with bananas.
That's awesome.
I don't remember any of it.
Yeah.
You never played it.
I don't remember the second one because I'm looking at some of the pictures. They got some video stuff of it. Some people played it, I guess. But I do remember the first one very fondly.
I remember like the whale. I remember when you mentioned like the whale's mouth and the dolphins. That's all ringing bells.
Yeah. So all that stuff is pretty cool. But
Poor
sorry you
Ryan.
couldn't join us going back in time. You stayed in the
Great.
present. Well, next time you got to go back in time with a game. We'll let you pick.
Sweet.
Yeah, sweet.
I gotta think of one.
It's super sweet, man. But anyways, thanks for joining us on this Losing Lives episode. Losing Lives. Who's next? I did it again. I did it again.
Yes, you did.
Who's the next episode? Again, I'm not sure. The video should be out by the time this comes out. By the time this comes out, our video of Mario's Underwater Jambalaya should be out. Tim here helped with Eric. We cooked, they cooked some octopus Not squid. It's fucking octopus. It's not fucking squid. But y'all did cook squid too.
Eric was pretty convinced.
Yeah, Eric was convinced that it was just a bunch of squid. Squid, octopus, clams, and fish.
Man, that sounds delicious.
Basically, the idea was to do a jambalaya. And we did it with mushrooms because Mario. And we did it with all of Mario's underwater sea creatures. That's why we call it Mario's Underwater Jambalaya. All the sea creatures that he's fought in different games and stuff like that. And we did it with the Rotellos and like a tomato paste in the jambalaya and gave it like a red tint, like Mario. And just kind of did like an interesting take. And, it's a game where it needs food badly. We're just trying to do some different stuff with it. The next one we're looking at doing, Ryan is going to be doing it with Eric. And it'll be like Sonic's chili dogs and onion rings. So there'll be homemade onion rings.
I'm down for that.
Try and make
So
them
if
as
you eat
golden
them
as we can.
And then someone hits you, do you immediately spit them back up?
Yeah, you should spit them back up.
Hopefully.
I think
they have
I
to come back whole.
I think I'll have Timmy come in for that one, and then while people are eating the onion rings, he just starts smacking you in the back of the head, and you spit it out.
I hope this is not a thing. Or you're gonna have like spikes on the ground for me to step on and drop all my fucking onion rings.
Oh yeah, we're gonna rig the kitchen with like springs and spikes. And,
why do I
mechanical bees?
I have a feeling that I'm gonna have a tray of homemade onion rings, and somebody's gonna kick me in the leg and knock it out of my hand.
And they're all gonna go flying.
There goes your ring, Ryan. I'm like,
you gotta pick them back up before they fade away.
It's like, why are you stepping on them then?
Yeah,
I was gonna eat that.
So, anyways, does anybody else have anything left to say before we shut this motherfucker down?
Man, that's Startropics.
You need to get on that. You need to go play that, and then come back and report.
The Game Critics video, I wanted to make sure I just shouted out because we used it. It's a video game Dunkey. That's the name of the channel that it came from. So that video has like 2.9 million views.
Well, technically, Tim, I did play the game through you.
That makes no sense.
Because you pretty much described the entire game.
No, you didn't play the game, though.
I just did.
Do you know what you're doing?
I got this. This is from the House of the Dead.
Oh, God.
Do you know what you're doing?
I'm fully aware of what I'm doing.
Voice acting.
Oh, man, that shit was bad.
Oh, that's from the second one.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks for joining us. Hope the talk was good for you. We're just getting into critics, going back in time with some Startropics. That was the shit. And look forward to our next episode. There's going to be Losing Lives. And not sure what movie we're going to do yet. But we'll find out and let you know as soon as possible. Peace.